Dave Buckman and Rachel Madorsky, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
I'm going to start from my perception of this. Dave, you told me that you had like some brewing, potentially good news when we did your regular Yes Also interview, but you wouldn't tell me what it was. And now the news has come true, and you said you would give me the opportunity to, quote, break the story. So I'm here to get the scoop. Big improv news. I'll let you take it away and say it.
Yeah, so last week, Rachel and I sold ColdTowne Theater to the same company that has bought UCB and Tim and Eric's Absolutely Productions. So now we are kind of a sister brand of those companies.
Incredible. How did this come about? What does it mean? What happens for you guys? What happens to ColdTowne? What does this change?
Not much changes on the outside. Basically, it came about because we were losing money and we weren't going to be open come now. Mm-hmm. We were running out of cash. Our rent is just way too expensive, and our expenses, every time we would make more money, our expenses would go up. And so it was an untenable situation, and we were planning on closing. And then by the grace of God, I think our artistic director, who used to be at UCB New York, reached out to Besser. Besser reached out to Mike McAvoy, who was our main contact over at this new company. And he reached out to me, and we started talking in October, basically.
And the plan is that ColdTowne will remain kind of the same institution that it has been in Austin. It's just that you have like someone else kind of writing the checks for rent. Is that what happens? But you guys still get to be the executive producers and programmers, artistic directors. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I'm going to be still the head of operations in Austin. We will. They're basically financially backing us. But we'll all start probably in the fall or by next year, certainly starting having some UCB branded classes and shows. And for me, it's more like having two colleges at the same university. You can kind of take ColdTowne classes and UCB classes and really delve into what makes this work fun.
Yeah, gotcha. So you still get to keep ColdTowne branded classes. There's going to be kind of separate tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal.
What would you describe as the difference between ColdTowne classes and UCB classes, other than the title and the brand?
I mean, other than what little I know, since I've never actually gone through UCB classes. So, what I know from UCB is very
I want to hear your impression. Yeah.
Game forward. Heightening
Don't say it
forward.
in that tone. Don't say game forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's very game based and heightening based. And ColdTowne has really started. When we started, we had all IO experience, so it was very relationship character based heralds rather than game based heralds. And so we really kind of taken that track and really emphasized character and relationship. We teach game as well, but it's not like the main drive of our comedy. So it's worked very well for us, and we like the results that we get as a result of what we teach. So I'm kind of interested in, and we have lots of people who've come and joined ColdTowne from UCB, LA, and New York that have influenced our syllabus over the years. So there's a lot of what they teach has already kind of been blended in. But we definitely want to have separate tracks, because I think everybody wants to learn UCB style. But there's so many other styles here in Austin beyond us as well, and UCB. So Austin really is there's comedy sports, there's narrative, there's short form. So people, hero's journey type stuff, and maestro and theater, sports and improv. So it's a smorgasbord of education here in Austin. We're just going to hold on to two of them.
Great. Rachel, what's your take on this? Are you thrilled? Are you what's going on in your noodle?
I'm thrilled. There was a moment where it felt like, wow, like a letting go of something, that a little piece of control or a little piece of something that has meant so much to us. We've been in Austin for, I think, 20 years. We were there on day one of ColdTowne, which was how long ago, Dave?
18 years, 18 and a half years.
18 and a half years with this theater. So there was little pieces of that. And I think this is beyond any kind of best case scenario, because not only, it's not just the financial piece or the fact that there's 200 and some students and performers that get to like keep their comedy home, like all the things. But in addition to that, what's possible now is a game changer. That talent that might have been hidden or might have had to move somewhere might actually just be found and discovered and seen in Austin, or now can travel to other UCBs in the country. I just think it's going to really open huge doors for people.
Yeah, my first thought was, like as someone who's like kind of in the UCB stable in LA, I thought like, I wonder if this will kind of pipeline people who are maybe burned out in New York or LA and want to go to a smaller market or just a change of scenery. And, it's like, now that they have the opportunity to just jump to Austin and teach and make a living there and do ASCATs or Heralds or whatever. I wondered if that would be a side effect of this, that you would get an influx of people from LA and New York UCB communities.
I think both directions, that people who want to slow down and live a really comfy, happy, often creative life and not be in the rat race, but still do really good work can come here. And people who are here and ready to fly will have places to go. And the only other thing I wanted to add to what Dave said about ColdTowne shows is that they're very socially forward. Like we put up wild shows that really have something to say and make a difference. And not that other theaters don't, but that's a big part.
Can you give me some examples of that to kind of illustrate what you're talking about?
Yeah, we've had shows like My Own Worst Enemy that kind of delves into mental health. We've had a show, Angola, that kind of deconstructs the United States prison system. And this is all through improv. These are all improv shows where we invite people who have relatives on death row to talk to the audience and kind of build a narrative around, an improvised narrative around.
And every time we make a fart noise, the name of the prisoner has to change. No, that's not it.
No, this is the exact opposite of that. Exact opposite of that.
Yeah. Sorry.
We've got all Asian troops and all Black troops and all gay troops, and that's not the most interesting part of their show. They're really building shows around their culture and creating shows that are specifically for those audiences as well. That are not just gay troop does Harold. You know what I mean? It's really. We had a whole show that took place. It was like a Law and Order, but it was all about the poppers culture. You know what I mean? And so it's things that really speak to those audiences, but in a fun, silly, socially forward way that make most conservative folks squeamish.
Yeah, I love that. And it strikes me that there is a difference in, I don't want to paint Austin like it's a small town. It's not. It's a thriving city with a huge cultural scene. But there's got to be an aspect to it, because it is smaller than LA or New York, that feels more community driven, or that you would get to know the people in the community more than just audiences here who are drifting in and out of the theater that we don't know as well. Would you say that's a fair characterization? Yeah,
I mean, we have a large community of people, and a lot of them have zero interest in joining the entertainment business. There's psychiatrists and doctors and lawyers and social workers that are really funny and really take this work seriously, but they're not trying to, get an agent. They're not trying to get on TV. They're really good at what they do. They're really creative and really funny, and really putting up really groundbreaking work, but aren't really interested in being on TV. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of that. I think there's a lot of more of that than there are in LA and New York.
Yeah, I love that.
And their life experiences come through.
I was going to say when I've my closest experience with that, I have taught in Austin, and I loved the students there. There is that vibe. There's a vibe of life experience and perspective and the specifics that come out in scenes are from a little more lived experience, and from like a variety of occupations. And the other place where I've experienced that is in DC. I feel like most improv students that I've taught in DC, like anytime someone gets up to do a monologue, they're like, yeah, when I worked as an ambassador in Switzerland, or like, yeah, when I was like redesigning the architectural museum, it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Just these like insanely intellectual, creative people that aren't in the biz is really exciting.
It is.
Yeah. Sell people on Austin as a place to live. What's the selling point other than the things you've touched on so far?
Well, if you haven't heard about our government leaders, they are amazing. No, that's the worst part. Austin is a hotbed of creativity. There are certainly they've attracted the greatest minds in tech here outside of Silicon Valley are all in Austin. All the companies here. So there's a lot of young, smart people with disposable income. So there's that section. There's
that bodes well for improv. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of socially awkward nerds fill up our classes for sure. With disposable income is even better.
A few of those have gone on to become movie stars. I mean, that's the other thing. It's
yeah.
Keep going. And it's sunny.
But so not only that section, but you also have all these poets, artists, musicians, writers, creative people that really put out a huge amount of artistic work in all different multidisciplines. Plus, University of Texas, and St. Ed's provide us with, 35,000 new freshmen every year. So that combination of new college students plus artists plus tech savvy people really combine to make just the most potent, fertile ground for improv students, I think.
Yeah.
And teaching them how to do this work is so rewarding and so much fun. Seeing people get it and want to learn how to get it more is amazing. And they take that out into their individual fields too.
Which can only help everyone, as you know, right. As we all know that as the choir that is preaching to itself, that improv can change and heal the world, and the more that it infects every area of life, the better. What is the cross-pollination factor between all of the? You mentioned there's like 12 different theaters or styles, or what you rattled off a whole list. Sure. Is there cross-pollination? Is there, or is it pretty siloed? If someone plays at one theater, can they play at every theater? What's kind of the vibe that way?
There is a lot of love, and everyone performs everywhere. When we first got here, it was smaller, but still everyone performed everywhere, and everyone wanted to make friends and debate and share about their styles and what's the right way. That was there, but there was so much love. And because there was even less industry, there's so little industry that it is so much about the love and the love of the art form, and everyone plays everywhere. And some people have home theaters. Everyone is everywhere and influencing everyone.
Most students find their home eventually. There's a lot of people that play everywhere, but like Rachel said, most people find their home theater. But there's no rules about who can play where. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
that's one of the things we decided early on in the community in like 2006, 2007, was when the theater started branching out, that we wouldn't hold each other, hold captive our students and our performers. It didn't make sense. And as a result, Out of Bounds Comedy came from that. And that festival was huge for 10 years. It's coming back in November, but it really did lift all our boats. When people move here, they move here because they know that they can learn a variety of different styles and play for a variety of different people and really become like the best sort of Frankenstein type improviser.
Yeah, it in a lot of ways it sounds like kind of the Chicago that we grew up in or grew as improvisers in, with just like such an abundance of venues and styles and theaters to go get inspired at, and also like share ideas and play at. When does all of this start? When does UCB bring its traveling suitcase in and open it up and change everything in your lobby?
They're going to start unpacking their rucksack next week. No,
Right. Everything's
so
going to be covered in our logo, and yeah.
No, the deal went through last week only, just last week. So it's been very new to us. Right now the first steps are like, how do we get our staff paid at the end of the week, at the end of the month? How do we continue classes and operations without any kind of hiccups whatsoever? And then I think probably over the summer, there'll probably be some electives and workshops from UCB teachers that are visiting, and maybe by the fall we'll start UCB 101. Maybe we'll start teaching our most senior teachers how to teach UCB. Especially the ones that have UCB experience. I'll probably be the first ones to go through that experience.
Who's in charge of teaching them that? Like who is the brand ambassador that's making sure the right things are taught or whatever?
TBD. I think that is a Mike McAvoy decision of who. I'm sure he's going to start looking into people in New York and LA that want to spend a couple months in Austin, or would want to relocate. I think that's the best part of this, is that we're going to send people there. We're going to send shows there, and to New York and LA, and they're going to send teachers here, and it is effectively a pipeline.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're interested, reach out to your artistic director and conservatory directors. And
would that be the process? Like people who are listening who are like, I want to do that, like reach out to the ADs at UCB.
I couldn't begin to tell you how it works at UCB yet. It would be all conjecture to give you any of UCB's motivations or what they're going to do. I don't know the answer to that yet. And right now I'm just trying to get my staff paid without any interruption. That's my primary goal right now.
Which by the time you hear this, that will have happened. They're going
to get paid.
Everyone's taken care of.
I got to send this guy like all of everybody's bank information and like in a secure way. I got to figure that part out, and how the trash pickup service is going to transfer from our account to there. That's the first step.
Hold on, let's do a podcast about that. Let's talk about bank information and trash service. That's the most immediate concerns over how an LA teacher is going to get to Austin. I don't know. I don't care. Just send me somebody good that is a good person and can deal with Austin sensibilities. Yeah.
Preferably someone that wasn't teaching in the 90s.
We also have added to our space.
I love your space. Yeah.
Thank you. And we do too, and we were able to negotiate a few more years with a possible extension. And included in that, on our compound, there's this really cool salon that we now get to include. So even while these 2 tracks are going on, there will be additional space. Like this might be where some of the UCB shows are. Like there's more buildings and space and possibility.
It's like a campus.
Too.
They're turning into one. Yeah. Very exciting. What I'm not trying to devil's advocate this. I just because I'm curious. What do you think? Like, is there a downside to this kind of this model of like a theater is trying its hardest to stay independent, and they can't pay the rent, and in comes the big brand and buys it? Like, are we moving towards a Blockbuster Video monolith of theater where everything is homogenized and owned by rich private interest, or am I missing the forest for the trees?
For all of your listeners that have owned improv theaters, they know that the profit margins are razor thin at best. At best. And you really need, most theaters operate on a donor, with heavy donor influence. And so it's not like any theater out there is just doing it on their own without, just by ticket sales. Ticket sales don't pay rent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this is going to help us organize ourselves. But the state of improv theaters, Whew, that is a hard question. I don't know the answer to the future of improv theaters, but
Yeah.
this certainly saves our hide and lets us to continue to keep doing shows, which is the other option was to shutter and go away. And that was really the only other thing that was on the table. We tried for years to find an angel investor or a bank loan or somebody who wanted to give us money in exchange for the. Yeah,
I tried. You didn't want my pennies.
We got amazing donations. The Bernie and Johnson Foundation gave us $50,000 over 2 years.
Wow.
The city of Austin gave us plenty of money over the last couple of years to kind of keep us afloat, but it wasn't enough. We were still losing money.
Yeah.
But part of that too, I think, if it's fair to say, is that because of how many people want to take classes, I think another option, and maybe some people do this, is go into a way smaller space and accommodate a way smaller base.
Yeah.
And maybe that's sustainable. But in our case, there's so many people, and thank God, that want to be there and love the theater. And so in order to come, so I think that the concern you bring up is a valid and fair concern. I feel like in this case, it's so worth it because not only are we getting to keep the doors open, but I think the possibilities that are going to open up for people are huge.
Yeah.
And I would rather flourish and find out than shut down.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And like I said, I wasn't trying to be like, is this really bad though? it is like a philosophical question that is always in the back of my brain. 'Cause it's like, people complain about higher ticket prices and the way that's moving. And it's like, but how else is this possible? I'm even curious, and I know that you aren't the ones to ask this question to, but how does this change? Okay, McAvoy buys it. Now, does he just eat shit? Does he lose money? Or do so many people sign up because it's UCB now and that's a profit driver? Or
I think the difference in making us not go broke is not as bad of an idea for him. You know what I mean? If he loses $8,000 a month on this endeavor, it's not going to kill him because what he gets in the end is access to an amazing wealth of talent. We have shows at our theater that could be Netflix shows by 2028. I think that's really what they're kind of looking for is marketable talent. How can we find the new generation of talent? That's kind of what he's investing in rather than taking the loss. For him, it's worth it to spend the money to find future talent and have early access to them and their ideas. And help foster that next generation of comedians that is trying to do the opposite of whatever the fuck ColdTowne is trying to do. You know what I mean? So to become the antidote to that in Austin is really the driving force for me as to why this is a great idea. Why should we not have the financial backing that Joe Rogan is giving ColdTowne? Why do we have to come from the ground up and pull ourselves up by the bootstraps by ourselves? Why would we and Rachel be expected to pour $100,000 into this business every year of our own money to keep everybody else's dreams afloat? Where's the opportunity? How can we keep this opportunity going for everybody else without me and Rachel going broke in the process?
More importantly, how can we figure out how to take money away from Joe Rogan? How do we make that guy go broke?
I would love to.
If we could solve that, yeah.
Well, this will do that. This will be an antidote to whatever they're doing down over there on 6th Street.
Yeah.
I would just add to that, I think what Mike and that whole team bring is, we have artists trying to run a business. And so now we have some business people that know how to run a business so that the artists can make art.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and I bet this is true of all the theaters, because all the theaters here are really good and really doing cool things, different things. And part of how those have been sustainable is in the beginning, everyone would get in some really cool situation like, oh yeah, sure, take our basement theater. You know what I mean? It's just not that way anymore. But I think now to have people who can actually focus on marketing, focus, just put the right attention on the right things, I think our theater will be really profitable.
I shouldn't have to know how the trash pickup works. I don't think. I mean, that's not
Right.
that's not what I'm trained in. You know what I mean? I'm trained in running a sketch rehearsal room. I'm trained in teaching improv classes and producing shows. I didn't go to business school, and it shows. No,
I mean, that is such a good call out, though, of the plight of so many small theaters is like you have to be a business manager, a graphic designer, a city negotiator, a protester, a community outreach expert, a psychologist. It's like the hats that you all have to wear in order to keep small improv theaters afloat. It's just remarkable how many things you have to do yourselves. So I'm so happy for you that you have relief from that and financial relief, and most importantly that you get to stay open and keep doing your creative thing. It's amazing. I want to close with something, but any last thoughts before we button up?
No, I'm really happy you let us do this, and I love you so much. Thank you.
Oh man, I love you guys too, both of you. Just and it really is. ColdTowne is such a special place. And truly in your new space, it really shows the love, and just all the toys you have to play with, like the cool lobby, the great classroom spaces, the great theater space, thriving community. It's great. Rachel, do you have anything to button up with?
I don't think so. Just thank you. We love you. Come back. And anyone who wants to come play in this beautiful space, you're welcome.
So that's what I want to close with. I'm sure that at least 20 of our listeners right now are light bulbing right now, going like, okay, yeah, this is the answer. I'm going to clean slate and move to Austin and do improv there. Let's say I am one of those people. I'm sitting in Iowa right now, and I want, what's that? What'd you say?
God willing, you move to Austin.
God willing. I mean, I would be bi-coastal with Barton Springs. That would be my other coast. I would gladly split time in Austin. I love it there. So let's say I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to move to Austin and teach or perform or take classes at ColdTowne and do all of this. What do I do? What job do I get? Like, is it an easy city to move to? Do I wait tables? Am I a barista? Are there ground level?
I don't know that anybody moving to Austin to teach improv classes from UCB, that's going to be their only job. I doubt
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. How do I pay the rent?
I doubt that. I mean, perhaps eventually, maybe in 2 years, there's enough UCB classes to pay for one person to do them all. I don't know. I know what the plan is, but that's so far down the road. I think right now it's more of like a junket, a 3 or 4 month, visit.
For those who,
but for people who want to, I hear what you're saying, Susie. I think the thing is the truth is it used to be so easy to live here, and it's still easy, but somewhere during the pandemic, there were 150 people a day moving to Austin. And so it is a city now. I mean, it's not like other cities, but it's not as easy as it was. So I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
You'd probably need some other gigs.
I would say if you can work from home, people that already work from home, great.
Yeah.
People that they can code probably do pretty good finding a day job here. Lots of restaurants, lots of coffee shops. Certainly, if that's your second trade. And I don't know anybody in town here that is making their living solely as a actor.
This is the stuff that's important for our listeners to know. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like just for a little planning.
There's not that many. There are plenty of films that shoot here. There's always at least one or two TV shows that are shooting here. Also San Antonio and New Orleans and Shreveport and Dallas. There's lots of film work there as well. And lots of commercials shoot here. Lots of industrials work as well, but certainly not enough for you to have it be your only gig. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing commercials and films here for a long time, and it's not that lucrative. Maybe I'd say there's a handful of folks in town that can do that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't have any delusions of grandeur about that. It's more like, our restaurant's hiring. Is there a way for someone to come off the train and grab a job, grab a day
Absolutely.
job? Okay, great.
Absolutely.
And is there any hack, like in LA, there's a site that when I moved to LA, people were like, check out West Side Rentals for an apartment. Is there like a good site for Austin housing that people can peruse?
We've been renting for 20 years and we just moved into our first house. So we're probably not the people to ask.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, there's sites for all. There are people that help people find apartments. There's a lot. I think the housing is actually pretty good right now if you want to rent, because after that 150 a day, I think some people it has waned.
Great.
There's a lot of condos in town. A lot of condos in town.
Well,
Every day, a new small mom and pop business is being demolished to make room for condos. So, plenty of housing.
What a
Mom and pop
sell.
businesses are on their way out. Condos are on their way in. Come on down, Austin, y'all. Business is thriving.
Come be part of the problem. Great. Well, I'm thrilled for you. I'm glad that your stresses have been lifted, that your theater can continue, and I hope that things are, that this is just the beginning of a new great chapter, and that things will only continue to improve. Yeah, thank you for sharing the info, and yeah, everyone move to Austin, but not too many people, just the right amount.